I can't dance. Yeet. Yo, I really got that up there. Holy crap. Ah, here it comes. Yeet. Oh man, can you believe it's already that time of year again? Right? Playoffs are here. What on, everybody? Crazy Dog back with my wild card round picks. I guess for the Steven Rose and Yinzermax sports tournaments. I don't even know if I'm even still alive for those tournaments, but guess we'll find out. Even if I'm not, I'm still doing my picks. What's up, Daniel? Always one of the first in the chat. So, of course, here we are, ladies and gents. The playoffs have begun, and I'm excited. I know the Browns aren't in it, which is a bummer, but obviously we only won 3 freaking games this year. I just hope that Andrew Berry and company are driven extra harder this offseason to try to get back here, because I tell you what, last year, the week leading up to that Houston game was fun, man. You know, it was like, oh wow, we're actually still playing. And then we saw what happened in that game. Wasn't fun. Not at all. And then my camera decides to freeze. Just like the Browns did last year. There we go. I don't know how many more times I'm gonna be doing this. But yeah. Some good games. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna really dissect these matchups. Because there's fewer games. It's not like I'm dealing with at most like what, 16 games? 32 teams. Not dealing with 16 games a week anymore. It's what, like 6? Something like that on both sides. I mean, I'm going to take a look at the schedule here. Now, as soon as I'm pulling up the schedule, let's take a look at the bracket just to see what we're messing with, right? So let me pull up Le Bracket. All right, so here's the Le Bracket. Oh, let me gotta minimize it because it's fat. It's too fat. It's too fat. Whoa. Hey, yo. Okay, Enrique, that's enough. That's enough. Let's not spread lies. So here is the bracket for the playoffs this year. And we do have actually a couple new faces. Yeah. On the NFC side, of course, the Commanders are back. My camera freezes up again. This thing's going to piss me off all freaking day, isn't it? I feel like it is. I don't know why my camera does it. It just does not want to work for me. Or you're going to judge he wants to be a Raven because of a video? Do you expect him to freaking throw up a double bird at a freaking fan? I mean, damn, he's a good dude. I mean, it doesn't matter what team you root for, he's gonna be a good dude. He's still gonna wreck Lamar Jackson. Will I be streaming any wildcard games? Damn right. I'll get into that in a minute, but on the NFC side, as you see, the Vikings okay, we're back. Okay, we're back. OBS was tripping again. Ugh! But as I was saying before, I was hit with the lovely reconnecting glitch on my OBS. The Chargers made it last year. Was it last year? Well, they made it before. They were beating the Jaguars 27. I think it was a 27-0, and they lost. Yeah, it was 2023. Yep. So 2 years ago, they lost 31-30. Yep. They were smoking them Jags. ready to send them home. Then they poop themselves. Now this year they got to face the Texans. Texans, obviously, it seems like they're in the playoffs almost every year, and when they are, they're usually playing in the early slot. It's honestly funny how that happens all the time. Except last year when they played us, we were the night game. Yay! And of course, the North matchup, Steelers and Ravens matchup. As soon as my lovely computer will wake up for me. Thank you very much. We can get this thing popping off. But of course, ESPN wants to take 5 hours to do it. Okay, here we go. So, of course, the Chargers finished second in the AFC West at 11-6, and the Texans won the division, won the AFC South with a 10-7 record. And the Chargers, how about this? Ending their season on a 3-game win streak, including a big-time win over Denver, beating the crap out of New England, and then Las Vegas. Well, they're 3-2 in their last 5, just like the Chargers. They were coming off back-to-back losses in a 4-day span to Kansas City and Baltimore, where they only scored 2 points against Baltimore. They came out against Tennessee, and for the most part, they took care of business. Yeah, just exactly what. Now, comparing the two teams. Obviously, we're going to start off with the road team, the Chargers, and then we're going to look at the home team, the Texans. But yeah, of course, everyone's trying to get to this joint right here, the Superdome. That's the ultimate goal right now. Get to that damn Superdome. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. So, looking at this matchup, though, the odds are actually they've gone up already. It's now Chargers favored by 3, so that's the standard. Yeah. Although it's flipped. Usually the home team automatically gets 3. But now it's the Chargers favored by 3. It opened up as Chargers by 2.5, so it went up by half a point. And then total 42.5. Money line minus 155 for the Chargers, plus 135 for Houston. I mean, comparing the two teams, obviously starting with the Chargers quarterback. I mean, you got Herbert versus CJ Stroud. Both the guys are elite. I think I'm actually going to say it's kind of a draw because both quarterbacks are damn good. What about their supporting casts? Yeah, the Chargers, Quentin Johnston, not very reliable. Josh Palmer, Ladd McConkey, DJ Chark, and Darius Davis. What? Now the running backs make up for it. You got J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. They actually just signed Ezekiel Elliott. So yeah, Zeke will be over there with Hassan Haskins and then Kamani Vidal. Interesting unit there, but okay. Offensive line for the Chargers is pretty solid. You have Joe Alt at left tackle, Zion Johnson, Bradley Bozeman, Trey Pipkins, and Rashawn Slater. But I guess they might be hurt, so you might see Jamari Salyer or Foster Sorrell. Ooh. And that should be a concern because the Texans defense, I mean, you have Will Anderson or Derek Barnett if he don't play, because the kid says here he's hurt. I don't know if he is actually, though. Tim Settle, Folorunso Fatukasi, Danielle Hunter. If Danielle Hunter's going off that right side, which would be, I believe, this side, if you're going this way. So he'll be facing a left tackle, which is Joe Alt. Ooh. 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 Oh, that matchup out of Cook. Okay. Using all the modern slang terms. But that matchup out of Cook for real. Joe Alt versus either Will Anderson. Oh my God, bro. Or Derek Barnett. Ooh. Wow. Oh, that matchup out of Cook for real. Now on the other side, right? You got CJ Stroud, And his supporting cast is damn good, too. Nico, Deontay Johnson, who they just added after they lost Tank Dell again, unfortunately. Yeah, he tore his knee up, I believe, again. That's Robert Woods, Nico Collins, Xavier Hutchinson. Solid receiving core, much better than the Chargers. That's for damn sure. Running back room, you got Joe Mixon, Daryl Ogunbowale, and Dameon Pierce. Pretty damn good running back room. You're even with the Chargers. Offensive line, you have Laramie Tunzel, Titus Howard, Jarrett Patterson, Shaq Mason, and Blake Fisher as your main dudes. And you're going up against a front of Morgan Fox, Poona Ford, Otito Obonya, and Joey Bosa. Yep, that's a pretty damn good unit right there too. And then you have Khalil Mack as well. Yeah, and Denzel Perryman. What about the secondary? I'll get into that in a minute here, because again, for Houston, the secondary: Derek Stingley, Eric Murray, Kalen Bullock, Kamari Lassiter, and Miles Bryant. Not too damn bad. On the other side, the Chargers: Raheem Still, Alohi Gilman, Tony Jefferson, Christian Fulton, and Derwin James. Advantage, skill position wise, on offense, I'd say Texans. But defense, though, it might be a push. Both defenses seem really good. Not gonna lie. Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to this matchup, I'm probably gonna roll with. Oh, this is gonna be a tough one, man. It's gonna be so tough. And oh yeah, comparing the stat leaders: Justin Herbert, 332 of 504, 3870 yards. So 3,870 yards, 23 touchdowns. This fool only threw 3 picks all year. Talk about taking care of the ball, man. If he does that in the playoffs, he's winning for sure. But CJ Stroud, 336 of 532, 3,727 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 picks. So yeah, it took a little step back. He's still a dog, though. J.K. Dobbins is their primary running back. 195 carries, just a shade under 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. Joe Mixon, who they just got this offseason, 245 carries, 1,016 yards, 11 touchdowns. They ran like the crap out of him. And then receiving, of course, Ladd McConkey, rookie out of Georgia, 82 receptions, 1,149 yards, 7 touchdowns. Nico Collins, 68 receptions, 1,006 yards, 7 touchdowns. I think when in doubt, go to home squad. But I got to go Justin, man. Justin Herbert does not mess up. If he takes care of the ball like he's been doing, I don't see how they lose. I mean, I like CJ Stroud and the Texans. No hate or anything. Because let's be honest, they took advantage of stupid ass Jimmy Haslam getting rid of freaking Deshaun. Let's be honest here. We were too blind to see it. We were so desperate for a quarterback because we had burned the bridge with Baker. We're like, oh my God, we need a good quarterback. Let's go get Deshaun. Yeah, that worked out well. They low-key took advantage of us, fam. Damn. Right back where we were before. Even worse though, because our money kind of tight right now. But in this game, I'm gonna go with Herbert to go on the road and get a dub. And yeah, I'm gonna go Jay Herbo to get the dub here. I mean, not to mention Greg Roman versus Slowick in terms of offensive coordinator. Yeah, give me Roman. Give me Greg Roman. Can't be from saying that. Ugh. But yeah, give me Greg Roman's offense over Slowick's offense. Yeah, give me Herbo. So give me the Chargers to win this game on the road. And of course, for those who are unaware, in the NFL, the next round is reseeded. So with the Chargers being the 5 seed, they're not guaranteed to face the The Chiefs. The lowest seed would face the Chiefs. Now, that would mean they wouldn't have to face the Chiefs unless the Ravens and the Bills won. So, yeah. So, that's the first matchup. And now, of course, we get to the second matchup. And that, of course, is round 3 Ravens and Steelers. I believe it's in Baltimore. I'm not even going to look through anything really. I mean, these two teams obviously hate each other, as you can imagine. I mean, we got to look at the freaking matchups of these two teams, right? Pittsburgh, Baltimore, right? I mean, obviously these two teams have made the playoffs recently. Baltimore's made it almost every freaking year lately. Pittsburgh, well, they haven't had success in the playoffs. They've made it, but they haven't had success. Obviously, they haven't won since, God, when was the last time they won a playoff game? I believe it was when they beat Kansas City, right? In the final stretch of Big Ben's career. And then we retired and we sent him into retirement, pretty much. Damn near. Yeah, that's right. We had him crying on the bench. That's tough. But yeah, this game should be a banger. Right away, the line says Baltimore favored by 9.5. This is in Baltimore, by the way. I will be streaming this game too. You damn right I'm streaming this game. 9.5, and then the over under 43.5. It's on Prime Video. Again, looking at the matchups here. Quarterback wise, you have Russell Wilson versus Lamar Jackson. Two of the slipperiest quarterbacks in the league. It's all about their offense around them. I mean, for the Steelers, you have George Pickens, Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin, Mike Williams, Scotty Miller, and Ben Skowronek at receiver. What? Running backs, Jalen Warren, Najee Harris, and Cordarrelle Patterson. We already know who I'm going with. It's Derrick Henry all day. Damn right. Miss me with that bullcrap. It's Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry clears all three of those dudes by himself. Then you have Mitchell back too, and Hill. Yeah, not to mention Lamar. But then you look at the Steeler offense. You have Dan Moore at left tackle. Isaac Somalo, Zach Frazier, Mason McCormick, and Broderick Jones. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to really do much against this Raven defense. I mean, you got Broderick Washington, Travis Jones, Nnamdi Madubuike, not Justin anymore, Nnamdi. Ben Madubuike up front. You have the big fat guy that picked off freaking Bailey Zappi last week. My big boy, Michael Pierce. Big man, Michael Pierce. Brent Urban as well. Be weary, Russell. Be weary, Mr. Russell. Michael Pierce is watching you. He's going to pick you off. I swear, if Michael Pierce had decided to run the ball back and if he would have scored somehow, if I'm Bailey Zappi, I'm retiring right then and there. That was just the perfect way for our season to end last week, right? I mean, the Ravens' offensive line is pretty good, but their defensive line's phenomenal. Al Van Noy, Malik Harrison, I wanted him in the draft, remember that. Roquan Smith, Tavius Robinson at linebacker. Also, David Ojabo and Trenton Simpson, Odafe Owe. And, they have some other dogs on their defensive front seven. The secondary is very underrated, too. Nate Wiggins, who had a pick 6 against us. Tre'Davious White, Ardarius Washington. And then you have Kyle Hamilton, Brandon Stevens, and Marlon Humphrey. Most likely they're going to have Marlon matched up with Pickens, who couldn't catch a damn cold last week. It's funny, George Pickens, I think, needed like 100 some yards to get 1,000. He ended with less than that. Huh? George Pickens has 900 yards. Wow. He was against the Bungles, too. That's tough, man, what he did. Unserious behavior. Now, I like the Ravens defense. They've always had a top-notch defense. And against the Steelers offense, yeah, they should be able to shut them down. You can't trust the Steeler offense. Nah. I don't even think the Steelers' typical freaking bull crap will save them. The voodoo magic. That ain't gonna save them on the road. Hell no. But then you flip it and you look at the Ravens offense versus the Steeler defense. Of course, they have Lamar Jackson running things over there, right? At quarterback. Derrick Henry, obviously, running back. Pat Ricard at fullback. Receivers, Rashad Bateman, Steven Sims, Devontae Walker, Zay Flowers, Tylan Wallace, Rashad Bateman. I mean, I think Zay actually got hurt, though, unfortunately. So we'll see if he plays. But yeah, I mean, I like the receiving core. It's, I think, a little bit better, though. More reliable than Pittsburgh's, that's for sure. The offensive line is also damn good, too. Ronnie Stanley, left tackle. Pat McCarry, Tyler Linderbaum, Daniel Falele, Roger Rosengarten at right tackle. Okay. Wow. All right. Now, the Steelers defense, right? Yeah. Okay. Up front, Larry Ogunjobi, Keanu Benton, Cameron Hayward up front, the big guys. Watt, Queen, former Raven, Elandon Roberts, and Alex Highsmith are at linebacker. TJ Watt has been practically on a milk carton lately. My dude could not get past Jack freaking Conklin, who was walking on one and a half knees this year. I don't even know. Might even just say he has like one fully operational knee. He's coming off a major knee injury 2 years ago. And he looked great, by the way. Really impressed with Jack Conklin this year when he came back. And then, of course, DeJuan Jones got hurt. But, yeah. When you look at it, I'm going to give the advantage on both sides to the Ravens. Because you can't trust the Steelers defense either. Now, again, leaders in passing, rushing, and receiving yards. Russell Wilson, 214 of 336, 2,482 yards, 16 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. Lamar, though, even better. He lit it up this year. 316 of 474, 4,172 yards, 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. 4 interceptions for Lamar Jackson. You know what? Instead of just going through the entire depth chart, I'll just go through the leaders. That's what I'll do. Yeah. That's what I'll do, because I'll be here forever if I have to do that whole thing. Because we're not talking like 4 games. We're talking freaking 6 games. I'm not going to be doing that whole freaking talk for like 2 hours again. I did that in week 1. It took forever to get through this thing. So we'll just talk about the leaders on ESPN and stuff. But yeah, I mean, quarterback-wise, give me Lamar Jackson. Rushing attack, Najee Harris, 263 carries, 1,043 yards, only 6 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, my God, damn near 2,000 yards this year. 325 carries, 1,921 yards, 16 touchdowns. Advantage Derrick Henry, of course. Receiving wise, obviously, George Pickens, 59 receptions, 900 yards, 3 touchdowns. Zay Flowers, 74 receptions, 1,059 yards, 4 touchdowns. Advantage again, Ravens. Ravens, of course, are favored in this matchup by 9.5. Sorry, yeah, 9.5. It's gone up another point since it opened. Over under 43.5. And then plus 360 for the Steelers, minus 500 for the Ravens. I'm going to go Baltimore, and I'll say I'll go over. Yeah, give me Baltimore in the over. For the Chargers game, I went Chargers, and I'm going to go over. Yeah. So again, this game I will be streaming on Saturday. Hope you guys tune in. We going to have some fun. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, Sunday, Buffalo and Denver. Denver, again, has not made the playoffs since 2015 when they won the Super Bowl. They haven't been this good since, which is crazy. Peyton Manning retired, and then they took a nosedive. They've been living in mediocrity for a while. They got to go to Denver. No, they got to go to Buffalo to face Josh Allen, who, as we saw, lost last year. Again. Yeah. Now, it hasn't been fun for the Bills. They're squandering too many good teams. Buffalo favored by 8.5. Over under 46.5. Sean Payton, though. He's been there, done that with the Saints. You know, going up against McDermott for the Bills. This ain't going to be easy. This is not going to be easy at all. Right? Obviously, comparing the two teams here. I mean, obviously, playoff history, we already know about that, right? I'm not going to get too deep into that right now. But the leaders. I almost forgot about the other game. Yeah, I got to do the last 5. Not like, I mean, we already know about these two, though. We already know about Pittsburgh and freaking Baltimore. I mean, it doesn't even, like, record does not matter with those two teams. Every game is cinema. But yeah, Baltimore ended their season on a 4-game winning streak, and no game was close. They lost to the Eagles, and then they're like, you know what? That's enough. Enough of this bull garbage. We're just gonna dominate everybody. On the other hand, the Steelers, they're the exact opposite. They beat us 27-14, right? And then they've lost 4 straight. I knew it was going to be tough. Didn't I say, like a few weeks ago, looking at the finish to their schedule, I was like, that's going to be tough. Philly, Baltimore, KC, Cincy. They lost all 4. And 2 of those games were 1 possession. Actually, no, none of them. Only 1 game was 1 possession. That's even worse. The hell, you barely beat us by 2 touchdowns in a game where we couldn't take care of the damn ball pretty much. And then you can't even beat Philly, Baltimore, KC, and Cincy, man. They kicked your butt. You probably could have beat Cincy, but Cincy got you. Now, just with that, I'm going Baltimore, like I said before. But then we look at this matchup, Buffalo and Denver. And again, we pull up the rankings here, the playoff bracket. What's up, Yusuf? Good evening. Again, if Buffalo wins, they're obviously number 2 seed, so they'll be moving on. They will have to face the next lowest seeded team. Which, if what I says happens, right? If Chargers win and the Bills win, that'll set up the Chargers for another rematch against Kansas City. Possibly. Because then if the Ravens win, yeah. So if what I think happens, Chargers win, Ravens win, and I say the Bills win, obviously. Because I like how they do it. They reseed in the NFL playoffs every round. The lowest seed faces the next highest. A lot of people kind of wish that other leagues did that. That'd be tough, though, right? Yeah, I think this is going to be another one of them classic games. I mean, Bo Nix versus Josh Allen, right? It's crazy what Bo Nix has done. I mean, a lot of people for the Browns, they're saying the Broncos kind of gave us a little blueprint on how to deal with the Deshaun Watson thing. Because look what the Broncos did, right? But ours is more complicated. But we'll see how they deal with it. Now, again, comparing the leaders, right? By the way, yeah, Buffalo favored by 8.5 at home. Over under 46.5. Minus 450 for Buffalo, plus 340 for Denver. This is a 1 o'clock game on Sunday. I'm not going to be streaming this game. Can always count on Houston being the first game of the playoffs and Buffalo being the first game of day 2 for the most part. Bo Nix, 376 of 567, 3,775 yards, 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Josh Allen has been phenomenal too. Honestly, MVP numbers, low key, if it wasn't for Lamar Jackson being what he is. 307 yards. Oh, 307. What the hell? 307 of 483 for 3,731 yards, 28 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. My brain is racing through this stuff, trying to get it out before I forget or something. It's like, chill out, brother. Damn. It ain't going nowhere. Sheesh. 2 really good quarterbacks. And it'll be interesting to see how Bo Nix handles the environment. Are the lights going to be too bright for the kid? I don't think so. I think Sean Payton's going to have him ready. He's lucky he has a damn good coach with him. Right? Now, Denver finished 3rd in the AFC West. Buffalo, of course, dominated the AFC East. Nobody really came close. Right? Obviously, in the AFC North matchup, they finished, 1 and 2? Obviously. So, yeah. Now, running the ball. This is going to be interesting. Javonte Williams, 139 carries, 513 yards, 4 touchdowns. James Cook, 207 carries, 1,009 yards, 16 touchdowns. 4 times as many touchdowns as Williams. Oh my God. Wow. Courtland Sutton, Mr. Reliable for Bo Nix, 81 receptions, 1,081 yards, 8 touchdowns. It's a great year for Courtland. Khalil Shakir, 76 receptions, 821 yards, 4 touchdowns for the Buffalo Bills. I think looking at that, I'm going to go Buffalo. Because they've obviously been here before. Right? And Josh Allen's been there and done that. He's failed, but he's been there and done that for the most part. Oh, Nix, this is his first, taste of this kind of environment. We'll see how he does. Maybe he balls out, or maybe he freaking shrivels up like a damn freaking raisin, and he shrinks in the heat of the moment. Right? We'll see what happens. But in this game, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills to get the big ass W and move on to the second round. So that's it for the AFC side. And then we move on to the NFC. 4:30 p.m. Green Bay, Philadelphia in a rematch from Week 1 in Brazil. Now we get this matchup in Philadelphia. I think where it should have been if it wasn't for Brazil. Now, over under 44.5. By the way, I'm going to go Buffalo, and I'm going to go, what was the over under on that matchup again? I'm going Buffalo for sure, though. But I'm going to roll Buffalo. I'm going to say over. I'm going to say slightly over. Green Bay and Philadelphia. Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts. Possibly. I don't know if Hurts is going to play. He's still in the protocol, I guess. We'll see how that goes. But Philly's favored by 4.5 right now. Over under 44.5. Philly, since they won the Super Bowl, they've had trouble really doing much. I mean, they made the Super Bowl, one other time? Lost to the Chiefs? Been close, but I don't know. Are they going to do it this year? We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think this is going to be the game where Saquon Barkley just goes ballistic on the Packers. Sorry, Tom Grassi, if you're somehow watching this, but yeah, I got the Eagles winning this game. Yeah, give me the Birds. Yeah, Philly favored by 4.5. It went up a point from when it first opened. 44.5 is the total. I'm going to go Philly and I'm going to say over. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of scoring. Plus 195 for Green Bay, minus 230 for Philly. Looking at the leaders, Jordan Love, 268 of 425, 3,389 yards, 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Jalen Hurts, 248 of 361 for 2,903 yards and 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. On the ground, obviously, Josh Jacobs, 301 carries, 1,329 yards, 15 touchdowns. Damn. Wow. That's that Aaron Jones workload right there. Saquon Barkley, right up there, though. 2,005 yards, brother. Damn. 345 carries for 2,005 yards, 13 touchdowns. For the air, Jaden Reed, 55 receptions, 857 yards, 6 touchdowns. A.J. Brown, who's currently questionable, 67 receptions, 1,079 yards, 7 touchdowns. This is going to be a classic game right here. I think this will be the game I stream on Sunday for sure. Who do I go with? Oh my God. Oh man. I'm going to go Eagles. Give me the Birds to squeak out a W. And this is going to, this is going to be a close one. It's going to be one of those games that has your palms like sweating like crazy. You're on the edge of your seat. Your heart's thumping out your chest. Your throat gets dry because I'm nervous. You know, Green Bay finished in third in the NFC North with Minnesota and Detroit up there. Imagine that. You're 11-6 and you finished third. Doesn't happen too often now, does it? And then Philly, of course, won the NFC East, really over Washington by 2 games. So how about Washington, though? I'll get to them in a minute. But yeah, I'm going to go Philly, and I'm going to go with the over. And then we wrap up the day Sunday with the Buccaneers and the Commanders in Tampa on NBC. The line is Tampa by 3, over under 50.5. Obviously, Baker versus Matthew Stafford. This should be an interesting game. These two teams have a big history in the playoffs. By the way, I know I didn't talk about it, but Philly and Green Bay obviously have made the playoffs the last couple years. They've had some freaking classics on their own. They haven't faced each other in a while, though. Much like these two. These two have faced each other recently, and a couple years ago, I streamed that game, Brady versus Heineke. It was a freaking classic. Tampa didn't miss a beat getting Baker, though. You know, the GOAT retires, they go out and they get Baker. Right? A freshly matured Baker Mayfield. Now, looking at the game odds and stuff, Tampa is favored by 3. Over under 6. God, I can't even speak. Over under 50.5. Money line. Minus 165 for Tampa. Plus 140 for Washington. And oh yeah, I don't know if I forgot. I might have forgot to do this. Hang on. Let me just cook this up real quick here for you guys. The last 5 from the last matchup. See, I'm trying to rush through this for some reason. I don't know why. I got time. I don't know why I'm trying to rush through this thing. It's like I'm scared something's going to happen. Like my camera's going to freeze up again. Right? Because it's been doing that to me lately. And it's just OBS being a troll. I'm going to leave the bracket up too, just in case you guys want to see it. Now, last 5 games for the Eagles, they are 4-1. Only loss coming to Washington by 3 in a game that they kind of squandered. After that, they escaped Carolina, and they barely beat a Giants team that in a game that didn't even matter. But yeah, Dallas and Pittsburgh, they took care of business. Packers, they're 2-3 in their last 5, beating Seattle and New Orleans. They blanked New Orleans. And they lost to Detroit, Minnesota, and Chicago. Ugh. Damn, they took a loss in the division? Damn. I mean, your last 3 losses are in your division, though. Ay, ay, ay. Half your losses are divisional. Damn, that's tough. But yeah, I'm going to go Eagles at home. Commanders and Bucks, obviously, Commanders haven't made the playoffs since, I believe, they had that game with Heineke. And obviously the Bucks have made it pretty much every year, even with Tom Brady, right? Tampa Bay Buccaneers playoff history. I mean, imagine that, right? Oh, the shall we do? Oh, look, it's a freshly matured Baker Mayfield. Let's go get him. Didn't even miss a beat, right? Yeah, they made the playoffs last year. They beat the Eagles 32-9, lost to the Lions in the divisional round. Yep. I did that game. That was fun. That was a banger game. Now Washington, obviously, they've had some struggles. They've had some trouble making the playoffs. Haven't made it since 2021 in that game that I streamed against Tampa, ironically enough. So they're going to try and get revenge. So we'll see what happens, right? But yeah, last five, Tampa 4-1. Only loss came by 2 to Dallas. Man, after that, they beat the crap out of Las Vegas. They smoked the Chargers, crushed the Panthers, and beat the Saints in a thriller. Commanders have been on a tear, actually. They've won their last five. In fact, to be more precise for them, though, I mean, they're crazy. I think their streak might have started after the Hail Mary, right? Something like that. That's where they really took off. That also ended the Bears season pretty much. But yeah, they have not lost since Dallas before the bye week, week 12. They lost by 8. I mean, actually, they could have easily only had one loss. But here's the kicker. Literally. Their one of their first loss of the year came to Tampa on the road. So they have a chance to get their lick back, as they say now. Get their smoke back. Get the swagger back and eliminate Tampa Bay in the process. Right? Imagine that, right? First game of the season against Tampa. Last game of your season's possibly against Tampa. Bruh. Gonna be tough, though. Be very tough. Yeah, I think in this game, experience is gonna matter big time here. Dan Quinn versus the Bucks. It'll be interesting to see how things go. Both teams very good, obviously. But I'm gonna go Tampa. Sorry, Washington. I'm gonna go Tampa to win this game. I mean, you look at their roster, you look at everything, right? Tampa's favored by 3, which is the standard for a home team. Over under 50.5. Minus 165 for Tampa, plus 140 for Washington. Comparing the quarterbacks, receivers, and running backs, obviously Jaden Daniels had a phenomenal year. 331 of 480, 3,568 yards, 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Baker, though, amazing season, too. 407 of 570, so they really had him slinging that rock. 4,500 yards and 41 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. That makes some Browns fans sick. Because they think, man, we could have had that. But you know what, though? I mean, he burned the bridge himself. Because, I mean, he could have competed, but he wanted out. Right? Oh, well. Of course, if he didn't get hurt his final year here, things probably would have been different. But he got some damn good weapons over there in Tampa. He was blessed to have such an amazing offense with him. Jaden Daniels also leads in rushing too, by the way. 148 carries, 891 yards, 6 touchdowns. Where do we see that? Your quarterback leads the team in rushing as well. They have Brian Robinson and Eckler. And your quarterback's your leading rusher. You have 1,000 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns. Now for Tampa, Bucky Irving, from Oregon. 207 carries, 1,122 yards, 8 touchdowns for Bucky. And then through the air, of course, you got my guy, Scary Terry. Damn dog. Absolute beast. 82 receptions, 1,096 yards, 13 touchdowns. Mike Evans just eclipsed 1,000 yards again. I was an 11th straight year. Every year of his career has been over 1,000. 74 receptions, 1,004 yards, and 11 touchdowns. He literally eclipsed 1,000 yards on the final play. It's crazy how that works, right? So, yeah, I'm going to go Tampa Bay at home to win this game. I think Washington does keep it close, but I can't trust Jayden Daniels. We'll see how he does, though, just like Bo Nix. We'll see how Jayden does in this environment, right, on the road. It'll be a fun game, but I'm going to go Tampa to win this game. Give me the Bucks. And then, by the way, yeah, Tampa won the division. Washington finished second, right? Tampa, they won their division, I think, this last week. Yeah. Really. If they would have lost and Atlanta would have won, Atlanta would have been in the playoffs. But nope. Nope, of course not. And then Washington finished second to Philadelphia. Again, Washington hasn't lost since before the bye week. Tampa Bay's 4-1 in their last 5. And then to wrap up the weekend, I'm going to go Tampa and the over, by the way. Yeah. Tampa and the over. Then to wrap up the weekend, or I guess the round, Monday Night Football, we got the main event, Sam Darnold and the Vikings against the Rams and Matthew Stafford. Currently, Minnesota's favored by 1 on the road, over under 47.5. I'm just going to say this. Hey, Minnesota, you want to win this game? Score a damn touchdown. You had how many chances last week and you couldn't even punch it in? Especially the chances that you had within the 5-yard line. They damn near handed you at least 2 of them and you couldn't even put them in the end zone. Now, Minnesota has been known for playoff disappointment over the years. I mean, look at all the games that they could have won in the playoffs that they lost. I mean, we remember the game against the Seattle Seahawks, right? In the freezing cold. They have to. Yep. The Rams have been here, and they have had a crazy amount of success under Sean McVay. I mean, they won a Super Bowl with Sean McVay, mind you. And, I mean, they're trying to do it again. Now, looking at these rosters, both teams actually coming off a loss to wrap up the season. Seattle beat the Rams by 5. And again, the Vikings couldn't find the end zone, and they got smoked by the Lions on the road, 31-9. Both teams 4-1 heading into this game. Los Angeles won their division barely. They actually won by tiebreaker over Seattle. Luckily, Seattle was eliminated before that game last week. Arizona right up there as well. Arizona didn't finish in last. How about that, right? Yeah, that's crazy. And then Minnesota. Arizona not finishing in last. That's a sight. Minnesota 14-3 and finished second behind Detroit. They would have won the division. It would have been Detroit playing on Monday night, but yeah, clearly Detroit wanted that bye more. So looking at the leaders for both teams, quarterback, I mean, Sam Darnold, what a year he's had. He earned himself a lot of money with this season he had. Might be from Minnesota, to be honest. But J.J. McCarthy seems to be the future there. So, yeah, no matter where he goes, he's going to get himself a bag. 361 of 545, 4,319 yards, 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions for Sammy Darnold. Matthew Stafford, though, 340 yards. God, I did it again. 340 of 517 for 3,762 yards, 20 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions. Aaron Jones on the ground, 235 carries, 1,138 yards, 5 touchdowns. And then Kyren Williams, 316 carries, almost 1,300 yards. He's 1 yard shy of 1,300 this year. 1,299. Yeah, 1,299 yards and 14 touchdowns. And then, of course, through the air, you have J-Jet, Justin Jefferson, one of the best receivers in the league. 103 receptions, 1,533 yards, 10 touchdowns. And then you have Puka Nacua, 79 receptions, 990 yards, 3 touchdowns. Of course, you got to deal with Cooper Kupp as well. So we'll see how things go with that. But I'm going to go with the Rams here. I trust the Rams more at home. Yeah. Minnesota's favored by 1. Over under 47.5. Money line is -120 for Minnesota and even for the Rams. Wow. How about that? So I got the Vikings losing back-to-back games to wrap up their season. That's tough. But it's just the way I have it. So give me the Rams to win this game. So with that, let's take a look at what the bracket would look like. So again, I have the Rams winning. So they'd be the 4 seed. I have the 4, the 3, and the 2 seeds all advancing. Which means we would get, a rematch. We'd get Rams and Lions. And then Bucks and Eagles. Yeah. Sound like freaking, what's his face from WWE? Paul Bearer. And then on the AFC side, Chargers, Ravens, and Bills win. So, yeah, it'd be Chiefs, Chargers, Ravens, Bills. Oh, wow. Okay. So, yeah, we'll see what chaos ensues, right? I mean, the Rams, obviously, they made the playoffs last year, lost to the Lions. So, they want that revenge. Minnesota hadn't made it in a couple years since they lost to the Giants in the wild card round. The last time they made it out of the wild card round was 2019 when they beat the Saints and then lost to the Niners. That was when we got Kevin. That was the Kevin game. Loser loses, either Kevin or Salah. Yep. It was either Kevin or Salah, I think, for the Browns coaching job. And the Niners won. So that means the Browns got Kevin. And the rest is history. No, it was the year prior. That's right. But yeah, it was 2019, 2020. So yeah, it was that year. Yeah. All right. So, yep. That's my picks. I'm going, of course, Rams and I'm going to say a slightly under. Yeah. So again, just a real quick recap of the games I picked. Obviously, first game of the year. I'm going Chargers and Ravens on Saturday. Buffalo, Philly, and Tampa on Sunday. So all 3 home teams. And then I'm going Rams on Monday. Now, in terms of the games I'll be streaming, Saturday night, I'll be live for Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Sunday, I'll be live for Philly and Green Bay. Just one game a day. And then, of course, Monday night, I'll be live for LA and Minnesota. So hope to see you all for those 3 games. And hopefully we have some bangers. All right. It's going to be fun. Playoffs are here. So with that being said, guys, I will see you all later. Shout out to, of course, everybody who watches these things weekly. And again, it's all about getting to this place right here, right? Getting to the Superdome. So I'll see you guys later. All right? And of course, if I hear anything about the Browns, I'll have a video, as always. But with that being said, I'm Crazy Dog. See you guys tomorrow for, I guess, yeah, the biggest NBA basketball game of the year for the Cavs, for sure. Against the Thunder. It's like freaking a heavyweight bout, right? At the Rock. Thunder